Imagine being the absolute undisputed ruler of the universe. You possess power so terrifying the very earth trembles when you walk. But you don't get to enjoy it, because every single day you are paralyzed by a chilling prophecy. One of your own unborn children is destined to violently tear your empire down. So, what do you do to stop it? You commit the ultimate taboo. As soon as your wife hands you your newborn baby, you look it in the eyes, open your jaw, and you swallow it whole, alive. This isn't a horror movie. This is the origin of the Sky Father. A story of paranoia, a mother's desperate deception, a 10-year war that literally boiled the oceans, and the rise of a hidden prince who would unleash a weapon the cosmos had never seen before: lightning. Welcome back to the Mythology Diary. Today we are diving deep into one of the most epic, blood-pumping sagas in mythology, the rise of Zeus. Grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's talk about how the king of the gods fought his way to the throne. To understand Zeus, we actually have to go back one generation before him, to his father, Cronus. Cronus was the lord of the Titans, the ruler of the cosmos. But here's the thing about Cronus. He didn't get that throne by asking politely. He got it by ambushing his own father, the sky god Uranus, and violently castrating him with a flint sickle. As Uranus was defeated, bleeding out and losing his power, he cursed his son. He looked at Cronus and hissed the prophecy: "Just as you struck me down, your own child will strike you down." Fast forward, Cronus is now king. He marries his sister Rhea, and they start having kids. But that curse? It is eating Cronus alive. He is terrified. He refuses to lose his power. So when Rhea gives birth to their first child, a daughter named Hestia, Cronus doesn't celebrate. He takes the baby and he swallows her. Now remember, these are gods. They are immortal. They don't die in his stomach. They just sit there in the dark, growing, waiting. Rhea is absolutely traumatized, but what can she do? Cronus is the most powerful being in existence, and this nightmare loops. Rhea gives birth to Demeter, swallowed. Hera, swallowed. Hades, swallowed. Poseidon, swallowed. 5 children devoured by their father's unyielding paranoia. But then comes the 6th child. And Rhea? She has finally had enough. The grief has turned into furious calculating rage. She is pregnant again, and she knows if she stays in the palace, this baby is going into the abyss of Cronus' stomach. So, under the cover of night, she flees to the island of Crete. Deep in a dark cave on Mount Ida, she gives birth to a boy. She names him Zeus. She leaves him there. She has to. She travels back to Cronus, wrapping a massive, heavy boulder in swaddling blankets. She walks into the throne room, pretending to weep, and hands the bundle to her husband. Cronus is so blinded by his fear, so arrogant in his power that he doesn't even check. He takes the blanket, opens his jaws, and forces the massive stone down his throat. He wipes his mouth, thinking the prophecy is finally defeated. He thinks he's won. Meanwhile, back on Crete, baby Zeus is being raised in secret. But babies cry, and if Cronus, sitting on his throne, hears the cries of a divine infant echoing from the earth, the gig is up. So Rhea sets up a guard of fierce warriors called the Curetes. Every time little Zeus starts crying, these warriors perform a frenzied war dance, violently clashing their bronze spears against their massive shields. Clang, clang! The deafening metal drowns out the baby's wails. and in that cavern, safe behind a wall of noise and bronze, Zeus grows up. He grows strong, and he learns about his siblings trapped in the dark. Years pass, Zeus is fully grown, and it is time for revenge. But he's smart. He knows he can't just walk up to Mount Olympus, the Titan's stronghold, and challenge Cronus to a fistfight. Cronus is massive, seasoned, and surrounded by loyal Titan generals. Zeus needs an inside job. He needs an army, and his army is currently residing in his father's gut. With the help of his first wife, the incredibly brilliant Titaness Metis, the goddess of wisdom and cunning, Zeus formulates a plan. Metis brews a highly potent magical potion, a poison designed to do one thing: make a god violently ill. Zeus disguises himself. He infiltrates the Titan palace, getting hired as a royal cupbearer. He's right there serving nectar to the very monster who tried to end his life. He waits for the perfect moment, pours the poisoned nectar into Cronus' golden goblet, and watches him drink it down. It hits him instantly. Cronus collapses, choking, gagging. The magic violently tears through his system, and right there in the throne room, Cronus forcefully regurgitates the massive stone he swallowed years ago. But it doesn't stop there. Next comes Poseidon, then Hades, Hera, Demeter, Hestia, fully grown, immortal, and radiating absolute fury. They had spent their entire lives trapped in a claustrophobic, acidic prison, and now they are free. The element of surprise is perfectly executed. Before Cronus' guards can even draw their weapons, Zeus and his siblings burst out of the palace, fleeing to the peaks of Mount Olympus to regroup. The prophecy is happening. The war is on. This isn't a quick skirmish. This is the Titanomachy, the clash of the Titans and the Olympians. This war lasted for 10 brutal, world-shattering years. Imagine the scale of this. The Titans fight from Mount Olympus, the Olympians fight from Mount Olympus. They are literally hurling mountains at each other. The ancient texts say the sheer force of their blows caused the oceans to boil and the forests to spontaneously combust, and the sky to groan in agony. The earth is caught in an endless crossfire of divine artillery. But after 10 years, it's a stalemate. Why? Because they're all immortal. You can crush a god under a mountain, but they don't die, they just get up the next day. Zeus realizes that raw power isn't enough. If he's going to win, he needs an edge. He needs super weapons. Gaia, the spirit of the earth, whispers a secret to Zeus. She tells him that deep beneath the earth, in the pitch-black abyss of Tartarus, there are prisoners, monsters that Cronus had locked away because he was disgusted by them. Zeus leaves the front lines. He descends into the darkest depths of the underworld, killing the monstrous dragon guard camp, and shatters the chains of these ancient prisoners. Who are they? The Cyclopes, giant one-eyed master blacksmiths, and the Hecatoncheires, gargantuan horrors with 50 heads and 100 arms each. Zeus doesn't judge them, he frees them. He gives them divine nectar and ambrosia, and he says, "Fight for me, and I will give you a place of honor." Out of sheer gratitude, the Cyclops fire up their underground forges. They go to work crafting the 3 greatest weapons the universe has ever seen. For Hades, they forged a helm of darkness, a helmet that renders the wearer completely invisible even to the gods. For Poseidon, they forged a trident, a spear that can summon earthquakes and command the seas. And for Zeus, they forged a master bolt, They take the raw, crackling fury of the storm, the devastating heat of fire, and they bind it into a weapon of absolute focused destruction. Up until this very moment in history, lightning did not exist. Zeus is the first being to ever wield it. The Olympians return to the battlefield and they execute a flawless tactical ambush. Hades slips on the helm of darkness. He becomes a shadow. He sneaks right into the Titan camp, invisible, and steals Cronus' weapons. The moment Cronus is disarmed, Poseidon strikes. He slams his trident into the ground, violently shaking the earth, throwing the Titan army off balance and creating chaos. And then, Zeus steps up. He raises the Master Bolt. The sky turns black, and with a sound that deafens the cosmos, he unleashes the lightning. He strikes Cronus and the Titans with blast after blast of pure, blinding plasma. The Titans are blinded, burning, terrified. And right as the Titans try to retreat, the Hecatoncheires step out from the mountains. 3 monsters, 100 arms each. They pick up 300 massive boulders and throw them in a continuous, endless barrage. It blocks out the sun. It buries the Titans alive under a landslide of solid rock. The war is over. The Olympians have won. Zeus rounds up the surviving Titans, binds them in unbreakable chains, and casts them down into the very prison they once guarded, Tartarus. The Hecatoncheires happily volunteer to be their permanent wardens. As for Atlas, the Titans' top general, Zeus gives him a special punishment. He forces him to the western edges of the world, making him carry the unimaginable crushing weight of the sky on his shoulders for all eternity. So the dust settles, the world is ruined, but it's theirs. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades stand together. They've won, but who gets to be in charge? They decide to be fair about it. They draw lots from a helmet. Hades draws the underworld. He becomes the lord of the dead and the hidden wealth of the earth. Poseidon draws the seas. He becomes the lord of the oceans. But Zeus draws the sky. By commanding the sky, Zeus effectively claims the high ground over everything. He becomes the undisputed king of the gods, ruling from the highest peaks of Mount Olympus. But wait, if you think the story ends there, you're forgetting the golden rule of Greek mythology. Every time you gain power, someone is going to try and take it away. Gaia, the earth herself, is furious. Yes, she helped Zeus, but the Titans were also her children. Seeing them locked away in Tartarus enrages her. She decides Zeus is too powerful. He needs to be replaced. So she gives birth to the ultimate nightmare, a monster so horrifying, so colossal that the stars brushed against his head. His name is Typhon. Typhon had 100 dragon heads bursting from his shoulders. His eyes dripped venom and shot fire. His roar sounded like lions, bulls, and hissing snakes all at once. When Typhon approaches Mount Olympus, the gods look at him and they panic. They literally turn into animals and flee to Egypt in sheer terror. All of them, except Zeus. Zeus realizes that if he runs, he loses everything. He didn't survive his father's stomach and a 10-year war just to abandon his throne. He steps out alone, armed only with his sickle and his lightning bolts. He faces a monster that makes the Titans look like children. The battle is apocalyptic. Typhon hurls mountains. Zeus shatters them in midair with lightning. They grapple, tearing the landscape apart. The earth catches fire all over again. At one point, Typhon actually manages to rip the sinews from Zeus's hands and feet, leaving him crippled. But Zeus, with the help of Hermes, gets them back, heals, and returns even angrier. Zeus chases Typhon all the way to Sicily. As the monster prepares to launch another attack, Zeus unleashes the mother of all lightning strikes, a blast so powerful it brings Typhon to his knees. Before the beast can recover, Zeus picks up the entirety of Mount Etna and drops it directly on top of him. To this day, they say the smoke and lava that spews from Mount Etna is just the breath of Typhon, still trapped, still angry, struggling under the weight of the mountain. And with Typhon defeated, the challenges were over. No one would ever truly threaten the throne of Olympus again. Zeus had proven that he wasn't just a usurper who got lucky. He was a warrior, a strategist, and a survivor. From a terrified infant hidden in a dark cave, crying over the clash of bronze shields, to the undisputed Lord of the Sky, ruling over the cosmos with thunder in his hand. The prophecy of Uranus had finally been fulfilled. Order had been brought to the chaos of the universe. That is the story of how Zeus seized the throne. Thank you for joining us on this entry of the Mythology Diary. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another story from us. Until next time, keep exploring the myths, and I will see you in the next diary entry.